Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's English session. So we're going to start our English session by looking at some new vocabulary and exploring its meaning and popping it in a sentence. So today's new target word is underneath. Can you say that? Underneath. Your turn? Fabulous. So when we break it down into syllables, we can do it a few ways. So we're going to have a go at patting our head and then clapping it out. So we want to work out how many beats are in this word. So I'll do it first. Listen, underneath. Can you do it with me? Underneath. Should we clap it? Underneath. So how many syllables are in it? Underneath. 3 syllables, okay? So there's 3 beats in this word. So the word underneath means that if one thing is underneath another thing, okay, so it's directly under it and it may be hidden or it might be covered by something. So here I've got 2 pictures and I've got a picture of a lovely little kitten and he is underneath, okay, he's directly underneath the sofa. I've also got a man and he is underneath the desk. So this gentleman is directly under the table, okay, directly under the desk. So the word underneath is a preposition. Can you say the word preposition? Your turn. Well done. So a preposition is something we haven't learned before, and a preposition tells us where something is. Okay, so the word underneath tells us that the person is below an object. Okay, it's directly underneath an object. So if I was going to use the word underneath in a sentence, then I've chosen this picture here because I think it's quite funny with this man. So I've chosen to say the sentence, the man is underneath the table. Okay, so there is my sentence where I've used the word correctly. So the man is underneath the table because he's directly below it. So I want us to have a little think now and use the word underneath to try and say a sentence with one word in it, which is underneath. Okay, see if you can have a go at saying 4 sentences with these pictures using the word underneath. So pause the video now, have a little think. Can you say a sentence for these pictures using the word underneath? Fab. So keep it paused if you need a few more seconds because I'm about to show you my sentence that I've written down. So here I've got 2 sentences on the screen, and the first sentence is referring to this picture on the left with the lady and her book. So I have said that the lady is reading her book underneath the tree. Okay, so that's showing her position. She is underneath the tree as she's reading her book. And then I've written another sentence which refers to the picture with the umbrella in it. And I've said that the lady is sat underneath the umbrella. Okay, you might have some other sentences where you have used the preposition underneath as well. So if I was going to look at using some different words which mean the same as underneath, okay, so some synonyms, I've got some here on the board for you to use. So I've got beneath. So that also means that underneath something, below, under, or bottom. So I might say that the lady is reading her book beneath the tree, okay? Or the lady is reading her book under the tree. So they're all words which have a similar meaning. Antonyms though, so words which have a different meaning or mean the opposite, one of those is on top, okay? So on top means you're directly on the object rather than directly under it. So that is an antonym. The same with above. Okay, so above is the opposite because it is saying that they are directly above the object rather than underneath it. So let's have a little recap then about the word underneath that we've been thinking about today. So let's have a go at stamping it out or clapping it out to check the syllables. So the word is underneath. Say it with me. Underneath. Okay, the meaning of underneath is to say that it is directly below or directly under another object. Sometimes it might be hidden or covered. If I was going to give an example sentence, I could say that Miss Reed's chair is underneath her desk. Okay, and if I was going to give an action to this word to help me remember it, I'd probably go like this. I'd say underneath. okay, to show that I've got another object underneath another one. So well done for joining in with me there. I'm going to stop sharing that screen now, and then I'm going to get our English lesson up for today, which is focusing on our book, which we have been learning, which I know we've all been enjoying because I've seen some fabulous work produced by everybody, and especially by the people who are in school. So well done, everyone, having a go at doing this work. So our story that we have been learning about is called Dinosaurs and All That Rubbish, and it's by the author Michael Foreman. Just spend a couple of minutes now having a think about what has happened in our story so far. So have a think in the story, what has happened? Okay, so pause it if you need a few more minutes. I'm going to say that in the story, there is a man and he is trying to reach up to the star, wasn't it? His dream was to be able to reach up to the star. And he tried to do that by climbing up a tree, but it didn't work because he was too far away. He also was thinking about maybe flying up to the sky so that he could get to the star because he saw the birds, didn't he? So he decided to get his factory workers to build him a rocket so that he could travel up to the star. But unfortunately, in the process of him doing this, all the factory workers and the factories created a lot of smoke and pollution and rubbish, and the earth turned into a very unpicturesque place. It wasn't a very nice place, was it? It was filthy, it was smelly, it was smoky. And we were wondering what the man was going to do next, because when he looked back down at the earth, he wasn't very impressed with what he saw. So today we're going to explore some adjectives to describe the images that we have seen in our story. Okay, and we're going to use some of these words that are on the board. So we're going to be using adjectives. Have a little think, what is an adjective? We explored this a little bit yesterday in our vocab blast. Adjectives. I know an adjective describes a noun, it describes an object, okay? So it might describe what it looks like, it might describe what it tastes like, what it feels like, what it smells like, or even what it hears like, okay, what it sounds like. So I've got some adjectives up here on the board, and we're going to go through them so we know exactly which ones we can use today in our writing. So this first word here is cold. Your turn. So if you're really cold, it's describing how you're feeling, it's describing the temperature. If it's cold, it's freezing outside, you might need lots of jumpers on, okay? The opposite to that word is here, and that is warm. Your turn. So if it's warm, it's not really, really hot, but the temperature is starting to increase, okay? So it is starting to get a little bit hotter. We've got the word dark. Your turn. So if something is dark, it means there isn't much light, it isn't very bright, okay? We've got the word light. Your turn. And light means that we can see lots of things and that things are very bright and colourful so that we can see everything around us. We've got the adjective nasty. Your turn. Nasty is when something isn't very nice, okay? I might say, oh, that tastes a bit nasty, so that doesn't taste very nice. I've got the word pleasant. Your turn. Pleasant is another word for nice. I've got the word stinky. Your turn. So stinky is another word for smelly. I've got the word sweet. Your turn. So sweet could be an object, it could be something that we eat that is sugary. Also, we can use it to describe the taste of something when it is quite sugary in our mouth. I've also got the adjective messy. Your turn. And we've looked at messy before, haven't we, in another book? And we said that messy is when there's lots of objects somewhere and things are a bit untidy. We've got the word tidy. Your turn. So tidy is when things are very organised, okay? Things are put back in their places. We've got the word ugly. Your turn. So ugly is when something doesn't look very nice. We've got pretty, which is the antonym, so pretty. And pretty is when something does look nice, similar to beautiful. We've got dirty. Your turn. So we've looked at dirty before as well, and we said dirty, things might have stains on them or marks on them, so when things aren't very clean. And the opposite of dirty is clean. Your turn. So clean is when things have been kept really well. They've been washed nicely. They're shiny and new. They might even smell nice as well. We've got the verbs, the adjectives, bad and good as well. So we're going to use these today to have a little look at thinking about describing these two images that I have got from the book. So on the left here, I've got this very colourful picture, and it's showing you, the birds leaving to try and get up to the star. It's very colourful and it's very bright and it's very vibrant, okay? But on the other side, I've got a very different picture. And this picture is very dark and it's very dirty and smoky, okay? So I've got two different pictures. Just have a little think. Which image do you prefer and why? So which is your favourite? Have a think. I know that the image that I prefer is the one on the left, so with the birds on, because it's very colourful and it's bright and it's more inviting, isn't it? It's pleasant. Thinking on the bottom, I've got some questions to make you think about how might it smell in these pictures? Well, I think where the birds are, I think it would smell quite pleasant. There might be fruity smells, but where the rubbish is, I think it'd smell quite stinky, be a bit smoky. It wouldn't be very nice. In terms of how might it look, we've discussed the different colours. In terms of how might it feel, I'd say, looking at the birds, I'd say it'd be quite warm. It looks like quite a tropical destination. But then you look at the other picture and I think it might be cold. I think it might be a bit sticky in the air or a bit dirty. It might feel dirty on your skin. So now we've had a little think about that, I'm going to show you what your first task is. So I want you to think of some words to describe these pictures, and I'm going to write mine on these little cards that you can see. If you haven't got any of these at home, don't worry. You can have a go at writing them on the picture or even writing them in a list. So I'm going to think about what adjectives I could use to describe this first picture with the bird. Well, I think that it is very bright. So I'm going to use the word bright. I'm just going to do like that so you can see it. So I'm going to use the word bright. I also might use the adjective warm, because I said, didn't I, that the colours are suggesting to me that it's going to be quite a warm climate. I'm also going to say, see what I can use off my word mat. I'd say quite light, isn't it? It's quite bright and very light, so I'm going to steal that off there as well. And I'm also going to use clean. Yeah, it definitely looks like a very clean space, doesn't it? So I'm going to put clean on there as well. So these are my adjectives I've used to describe this picture. So I've got bright, warm, light, and clean. But let's have a little look at the picture opposite. I definitely don't think I'm going to be using the same adjectives to describe this picture, because I don't think it's very light. If anything, I think I'll probably be using the word dark. Let me check. Is dark on my word mat? Yes, there it is down here on the bottom. Let me highlight that for you. So I'm going to use that spelling. Dark. You know what other word I might use? It's not on my word map. I think I'm going to use the adjective gloomy. Can you say that? Gloomy. So gloomy is when something is very miserable. It's very dark. Okay, it's a bit dingy. I'm going to use the word gloomy. Maybe you'll use gloomy at home. What else could I use? Anything off my word map? Dirty. Definitely. I definitely think I'm going to use the word dirty to describe this picture. Dirty. Have I got any more? Messy. Messy is a good adjective to describe this picture, because we said that there was lots of rubbish everywhere, didn't we? So I'm going to use that here, look, off my word map. Messy. M-S-E, messy. Remember, we learn as well, if we're making the E sound at the end of a word, we add the letter Y. So if you look here, mess-y, gloom-y, dirty. So make sure you're putting a Y at the end, okay, and not the letter I. So they're my adjectives to describe these pictures, and I want you to pause this video now and have a little think and add some adjectives to your own lists. So you can have a go at pausing this screen here, okay, and labeling the pictures using these words. So use some adjectives to describe the pictures. I've popped this on the school website so you can have a go at doing this at home. Or if you want to just write a list, you could write number 1 and then write down all the adjectives to describe picture 1, and then number 2 and write down all the adjectives to describe picture 2. Okay, so don't worry if you can't print that off, but pause this video now and do this first job, because you have to do this first before we move on to our next bit of learning. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video, fingers crossed, and now you're on to our second part of learning. Okay, so you should have something that looks similar to this, where you've got all these keywords all over your pieces of paper to describe the pictures that we've got. And we're going to use these now to create superlatives. Can you say superlatives? Your turn. Fabulous. So we're going to use our adjectives and change them into superlatives. So let me have a look at this picture and I'll explain what I mean. So here in this picture, it is really clean. Okay, so it's very, very clean. But instead of saying it is really clean, I'm going to use the superlative, it is the cleanest. Okay, so instead of saying really clean, I'm going to say it is the cleanest. And here, look, I've added est onto the end. So I've added the suffix est onto the end of my adjective to create the superlative. So let's look at this next picture now. So in this picture, it is really dark. So instead of saying it is really dark, I can add est onto the end and I can say it is the darkest. Okay, so these words are superlatives when it is the most or the greatest of something. So if it's really clean, really dark, really messy, really filthy, we call those superlatives. And we add the suffix est onto the end. So we're going to have a little go now at changing some of these adjectives into superlatives. And we'll have a go at doing this together. Okay. So here I've got the adjective messy. And messy is a bit of a challenge because here it ends in a Y. Okay, so if my root adjective ends in a Y, then I need to change the Y to an I and then add est. Okay, so let's have a little look then at changing my next root word. So here I've got clean, and I'm going to add est to make a superlative. So I'm going to write clean, and then at the end of clean, to make it a superlative, I add the letters est. So now the superlative is cleanest. Your turn. Well done. Thank you for helping me at home with that. Right, I've got another adjective here. Let's read this one. Light. So I've got light, and I need to add the suffix est onto the end of it to make it a superlative. So I'm going to write light, and then I'm going to add est onto the end here, and that changes the word to a superlative. So now I've got the word lightest. Your turn. Okay, so the most of something. I've got another little job for you to do now. Okay, so this is task 2. So down the side on the left, you can see lots of adjectives. So I've got cold, your turn. Dark, your turn. Bright, your turn. Sweet, your turn. Warm, your turn. Light, your turn. Pretty, your turn. Ugly, your turn. Smelly, your turn. And what I want you to do is I want you to write this word down. So write cold down. You don't need the sheet for this. You can just freeze the screen now and have a little go. So you can write the word cold. This is your adjective. And then I want you to change it to the superlative. So remember we said we have cold, which is the adjective, and we add est, and it makes coldest. So that is the first one that you can write down on your list. At the bottom, I've got 3 challenges just here. Now, each of these words, each of these adjectives ends in a Y. Let me just flick back and check this. So if we have a word that ends in a Y and we're adding the suffix est onto the end, remember we change the suffix and we add an iest. Okay, so we change that Y to an I and then we add est onto the end of it. So I've given you 3 challenges there. I wonder if you can have a go at doing them for me. So that is your second challenge for today. And then I've got a really big challenge. So have a go at doing that second task. Have a go at using those adjectives and changing it into superlatives, and then pause the video whilst you're doing that, because you need to do that next bit first. Okay, so pause the video here, and then once you've done it, rejoin us in a second. So hopefully you've changed all those adjectives now into superlatives, because now what we're going to have a go at doing is, well, I'm going to set you a bit of a challenge. Okay, so we're going to have a go at using these superlatives in a sentence to write a noun phrase. So here at the top of my whiteboard, I have got 3 superlatives. I've got cleanest, messiest, and lightest. And I'm going to have a go at writing them in the sentence. I think I'm going to use the word cleanest. Cleanest. So I'm going to think of my sentence and include the superlative cleanest. I know what I'm going to say. The earth was the cleanest before the man built his rocket. So the earth was the cleanest before the man built his rocket. The earth was the cleanest before the man built his rocket. Great. Okay. You might have a different sentence and use the superlative messiest or lightest, but that is my challenge. Okay. So you've got 3 tasks to do today, and hopefully you've paused this video along the way to complete each of them, because they build on the prior knowledge from before. So task number 1 was to make sure that you've labelled those pictures with adjectives. Task number 2 was to change those adjectives to superlatives. And then my challenge, okay, is to have a go at using these superlatives in a simple sentence. And that is my challenge for you today. I can't wait to see all of your fabulous adjectives that you've written down to describe these pictures. Don't forget to send me a picture of your fabulous work that you've completed today. I look forward to receiving it and hopefully getting to share some of it with you tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.